Welcome to Evergreen Speedway's Home Track Heroes on Seattle 11.
Welcome one and all to Home Track Heroes here on Seattle 11, presented by our friends at Gene Johnson Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. I'm your host for the night, Derek Todoroff. Alongside me, as always, Mr. Ben Iman.
How's it going?
It has been a rough couple of days. The weather, unfortunately, impacting our amazing Central Welding Supply Twin 70s Driver Union Night presented by Garage Force. On the docket were Prolates. Unfortunately, not going to see them on this show. Instead, the Mini Stocks, FSCRA, Youth Hornets, and Super Stock Figure 8s for two races on our show tonight. Amazing night of racing, Ben, wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. Got a lot. Unfortunately, we're not getting the Twin 70s of the Prolates, but everything else is sure to be action-packed. Going to be a lot of battling. The Mini Stock Championships shaking out to be a battle to the end, and the Super Stocks have been entertaining all season long.
That it certainly has been. The Mini Stocks, it's a battle between rookies in that division. Bobby Fischer, Jackson Beckel, and speaking of them, I believe, first up on our show tonight is going to be our first BECU Mini Stock Heat Race, as we'll give you the starting lineup as they roll on across the line, starting with the driver of the number 12 machine. That is Cole Reardon, sponsored by Absherville LLC. He will start alongside the 14 of Austin Kramer out of Snohomish, sponsored by Northwest Security and Sound.
The 81, one of the drivers we mentioned, Bobby Fischer, is out of Lake Stevens, and he's sponsored by Tire Pros of Arlington. Starts along the 16 tonight. That's Mike Marthaler, sponsored by Brava Pizza in Snohomish.
Final driver in the field, Jackson Beckel, driver of the number 18J out of Snohomish, sponsored by Tire Pros of Arlington. As we mentioned, this has been the points battle to watch so far this season. The 18J, the 81 going back and forth in their Tire Pros machines. Both of them rookies, stacking up against some of the favorites we thought we'd see this season, including in this field as well the number 16 of, well, I guess typically of Travis Woodward, tonight of Mike Marthaler.
Yeah, that car has been driven by Woodward all season, was out tonight, and so Marthaler hops in the car, runs it for him tonight. Same thing with the 12, that the car is normally driven by Gavin Ballou. Was involved in an incident earlier in the year, has Ballou kind of sidelined for a few weeks, and so Cole Reardon takes the seat tonight. But again, the points battle between Beckel and Fischer is so close that honestly the winner of this heat race is going to take the top spot in that championship heading into the main event later tonight.
Exactly. Quick addendum, you see the 81 starting outside of row number 1, not the number 14. We move on from there as they roll out of turn number 4, looking to the Central Welding Supply green flag. And there it is. We are off for our first BECU Mini Stock Heat Race. Reardon on the inside, Fischer on the high side. In wet conditions like this, the top's where you want to be, and you see the pass made there. Out of turn number 2, Bobby Fischer to the lead.
Yeah, Beckel's kind of clearing Marthaler's now going to have the rundown on Reardon using that high line. That's going to be where the more drier track is going to be. And Beckel will clear Reardon, and now the points battle, 1 and 2 in the championship, 1 and 2 in the race.
It's what you've come to expect from this class. These two have been duking it out all season long. It's amazing to see how fast they've taken to these tracks. Neither of them a 3/8 veteran, as the 81 machine, Bobby Fischer, drives for our Hornet class, which you're familiar with, is often on our road course, while the 18J comes from our amazing Stinger 8s. Neither of which used to oval racing. You see two drivers who are, Marthaler and Reardon, going side by side for third.
Yeah, it's a tough battle here for third. Again, heat races, if you don't know, at Evergreen Speedway are not for positioning. They're for extra points in the standing. So how you finish in this is not necessarily how is going to affect how you stack up later in the main event tonight. But right now it looks like Marthaler clears. Reardon coming out of turn 4. And now settling in that top 3 here in our first heat race.
That they are positioning here in this determines points as 8 for first, 7 for second, 6 for third, going down by 1 until you get back to the 8th place spot. Everyone from there on back gets 1. Think of it as a participation point for joining us in the heat races.
Makes sense. Take a look at front stretch camera here, and you can see Bobby Fischer has opened up somewhat of a gap back to Jackson Beckel and Travis Woodward. Is this a sign for what's to come later tonight, Derek?
You gotta wonder. 81 has been fast, has pulled away many a time during our races. Really the only car we've seen have the speed to match mano-y-mano against the 81 is the J21 of Justin Brave, who we do not have running with us tonight.
Did not see Justin earlier today. We've got about 3 laps here to go in this heat race, and right now it's been all Bobby Fischer. Best battle right now is Mike Marthaler trying to battle off Cole Reardon. It lists him as Travis Woodward, but it is Mike Marthaler. We know that. Right now, that's the battle to watch with 2 more laps to go.
Yeah, you see Marthaler reeling in the 18J. Reardon trying to close the gap as well. Kramer still running back there in the 5th place spot. We are focused on Beckel and on Marthaler. 2 of them, well, the 2 cars there scuffled a little bit at the start of the season. Haven't really seen anything come from that. I think both drivers put aside their differences. Try and keep those cars from being too tore up as we got the white flag. One more trip around for Bobby Fischer in the 81.
Yeah, right now, clean air and empty space around him has been Bobby Fischer's dream. Marthaler's trying to close down Jackson Beckel here on this last lap. Big run down the backstretch going towards the top side. Can he clear the 18J? We look towards the front. Bobby Fischer claims the heat race win. Jackson Beckel holds off Marthaler at the line. And then Reardon comes home 4th, and Kramer comes home 5th.
Yeah, and that is a good preview for what we got later on in the night when we see the mini stocks take on their main event. That will draw the 2 of those drivers even. So we head now to the 8. Monroe Gross Realit Superstock Figure 8s have 2 mains coming up later on tonight, 2 30-lappers. But this one is their heat race, 8 laps around the 8, led by the driver of the number 17X, that is Ricky Argus, sponsored by McCarthy General Contractor out of Stanwood, and the driver 76S out of Everett, sponsored by All Solves Plumbing, that's Chris Southard.
The 63 All Ply Roofing LLC car is out of Arlington, driven by Robert Weldon, Big Bird. And in the 88 alongside him, the Protocol Plumbing and Sewer car is Doug Delfell, sitting in for Guy Litz.
They get the 1 to green as we go back. RJ Mackey in the number 69 out of Gold Bar, sponsored by Blue Jay Productions. And then subbing in for the Young Gun Chevy Vincent, sponsored by Homegrown Hair Studio in the number 45, the Cowboy John Carlson, the 2023 Monroe Gross Realit Superstock Figure 8 champion. Looks to make his way to the front and win this heat race. 6 cars, 8 laps as they roll through the left-hander.
Yeah, they'll come towards the green flag. It waves, and oh my goodness, you can just see how quickly this rain has picked up on us from those 2 heat races. Man, it is coming down in buckets, but we will see these Figure 8 drivers, test the waters, no pun intended, or I guess all pun intended. But right now, Chris Southard looks to clear Ricky Argus into the lead in the 76S. Doug Delfell is trying to clear Big Bird Robert Weldon a little further back.
Yeah, you see them pulling on through. You also see the water just spraying off of those rear tires. Next time we'll see these guys will be Figure 8 Nationals, so this is a bit of a trial run to get you ready for that massive event, one of the biggest Figure 8 events in the West. As you see, Southard has assumed a clear and obvious lead. Yargus in second, Weldon and Delfell continuing to battle for third.
Yeah, a couple of different names in cars here tonight, Derek. We'll talk about Doug Delfell, a veteran here of Evergreen Speedway in year number 50, which is an amazing achievement for him, just driving the 88. And the Cowboy, John Carlson, stepping in for Chevy Vincent. And the young gun was off this weekend. He was busy partaking in a different event. So, what a replacement, Derek, to have in the Cowboy.
Yeah, you go from a young, talented driver to one of the most decorated veterans we have to offer here at Evergreen Speedway. Cowboy, an outlaw champion, a super Figure 8 champion back in the day, and of course, last year's Superstock Figure 8 champion. He is battling with another veteran. Him and the Grizz, Doug Delfell, going at it for the 4th place spot. As Southard enjoying all this carnage behind him, it means he can just pull on away.
Yeah, but with the way the track conditions are shaping out, I don't think pulling away is necessarily the advantage it would normally be. I think the road is going to be obviously quite slippery and prone to spin outs or just missing your entrances. We see, you're right there. Yargus gets real loose and shoots up the track in the intersection. Now Big Bird Weldon gets loose behind him.
I think he might have had some help from Delfell as they come across the line. I would argue that the advantage of being in first in a race like this is that it gives you that luxury of letting up a little when you feel your car slipping. You don't have to hold a position. As you see, 17X and the 45 going side by side. Yargus gets real loose, trying to defend that position. He has to accelerate, push the car a little more, takes away that advantage. You're in first, you have space behind you, you can take your time.
Yeah, well, we haven't even seen Chris Southard again. He is so far checked out of this race. But the Cowboy Carlson has moved his way up into second. Yargus is now going to have to try to defend Delfell for one more lap to make sure he maintains third.
Well, Southard is going to take the white flag. See him almost a half corner ahead of the 45.
Goodness, yeah.
Look at the gap between him and Cowboy. Southard leads him into the right-hander. Focus here on the third-place driver of Rick Yargis. See Delfell in pursuit, Weldon in fifth. They round out through the right-hander. However, when all is said and done, we will exit out of the left, and there is Chris Southard taking the checkered flag, your winner in the Monroe Grocery Outlet Superstock Figure 8 Heat Race. Second place to the Cowboy John Carlson. Third to Rick Yargis.
Yeah, it was a tough battle. The conditions there were quite wet, and those drivers having to almost battle through all just the standing water is almost just as difficult as the rain. As here comes R.J. Mackey clearing out this heat race. So just a little sampling of what's to come, Derek, tonight. Later on, something happened there. Robert Weldon slipped off the pace. Not quite sure.
Yeah, he went around, unfortunately, off camera, as that will do it for our Figure 8 action. We head to the 1/5 mile oval next here for our Nelson Motorsports Youth Hornet main event. They are led on the inside by the number 46 of Calvin Dillavern. On the high side in that green number 32 out of Snohomish, sponsored by Weatherright Roofing, that is Sawyer Holden.
The 67 out of Snohomish is Kylie Ann Surian, sponsored by James Peak Honest Transmission. She starts alongside the 65 of Bryson Wingfield out of Monroe, sponsored by Papa Tony Hill.
In the number 11 machine out of Bellevue, sponsored by Cars Custom Auto Repair Specialist, that is Keegan Mooney. In the 01, outside of him, out of Arlington, sponsored by Misfit Motorsports, that is Tanner Bjornson.
We take a look at the back row. The 31 of Lila Mashburns out of Marysville and sponsored by General Car Wash. Starts alongside the 4 out of Snohomish of Taylor Thompson, sponsored by Weatherright Roofing. So, Derek, the Youth Hornets, again, don't keep points here, but all of these battles for a spot on the podium and a trophy later. The kids are going to battle it out here on the 1/5 mile. Talk me through, talk me through here the Hornets and what we should be expecting here.
So the Hornets are not going to handle like the mini stocks. We saw the high line, so much of an advantage for the mini stocks. This track is flat, which means the water a lot more spread out. You'll see that some of them might try and take it as a tri-oval. Some of them stick to that more traditional oval. That will be how we see it all break down. Who's accelerating into those corners is out of 4. Roll into the green. Here we go. Dillavern and Holden leading them into 1.
Yeah, good jump there. Everyone's kind of maybe cautious, taking it maybe a little bit slower than they would and getting real loose. When we look to the top, you can see the 67. That's Surian. There's that tri-oval line. And, here comes the 01. Tanner Bjornson's forcing the issue.
Yeah, they're going to go 3 wide there for third. It all breaks apart. As they stay 3 wide. Ooh, Bjornson and Surian making a little bit of contact. Up front, though, Dillavern, your race leader. Mooney in second. Holden trying to get into the second place spot here on the high side using that tri-oval method as, door-to-door and contact between the 31 and the 01 of Mashburn and Bjornson.
Yeah, you go on board here with Mashburn. You can see Dillavern gets loose there. You can just see how slick this road is for these drivers right now. And Tanner Bjornson's just kind of forcing his car where he wants it to go, and it's so far working out for him as he's moving forward. Mashburn's going to look to send it in on Dillavern. Oh, no. I don't know that there was enough space there, and there's Dillavern's around into a Uke tire.
Yeah, Dillavern going to spin the 46 after contact with the 31. Caution in the air. Looks like we got some replays to take a look at what happened. Here it is from the camera on. Mashburn dives into the corner. Ooh, some slow motion. You see the contact there. Dillavern just goes around, hits that Uke tire. Ooh.
Yeah, I think it was just not quite sure who's at fault here. We'll take a look. Mashburn was trying to make the move on Dillavern.
As we will have more racing here on Seattle 11. Home Track Heroes is back right after this. Welcome back to Home Track Heroes here on Seattle 11, presented by our friends at Gene Johnson Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. I'm Derek Donoroff, alongside me, Ben Iman. Welcome to the Youth Hornet race as we are 3 laps in. Contact between Dillavern and Mashburn brought out the yellow. We will restart here with 27 laps remaining. Keegan Mooney in first, Tanner Bjornson in second.
Yeah, it looks like Sawyer Holden currently sits in the 32 and inherits third. Taylor Thompson and Wingfield, and there you can see looks like Surian and Mashburn a little further back.
Immediately you see the side-by-side battle between the 01 and the 11. Also saw the 32 get real loose off the corner as trying to recover there. Taylor Thompson now up into the third place spot. Bjornson going to clear and go into sole possession of first, but here's the crossover, an attempt from Mooney. Trying to put the car low, not going to work out that time.
Yeah, I wonder how much of the track being and how wet it is affecting that run. You can see the spray kick up as they run down that back straightaway. Although the 01 gets real wide, that's going to open the door for Mooney to get back side by side. Bjornsson holds the lead across the line, but they're side by side back into turn 1.
Well, the car is going to slide a lot more. Like I said, this entire track coated in water. Instead of the banking help pushing it down. See, they remain that neck and neck strategy. The run not coming up the high side like you would see on the 3/8 as Mooney assumes the lead once more. Bjornsson might try to do the exact same thing.
Yeah, good job there, Keegan Mooney in that 11. He stayed conscious. Here comes the Taylor Thompson in the 4. Getting maybe a little contact with the 01. I don't think Tanner Bjornsson saw her coming in that 4 car. But now she's getting involved in the battle, and we've got a 3-way battle for the lead.
That we do here with about 24 laps remaining. Bjornsson running in the second place spot now has to worry about trying to get by the 11 and holding off the number 4. Never a position you want to be in as a driver.
No, you don't ever want to be in the middle. That's for sure. That's going to be tough as we take a look a little further back. Mashburn and Wingfield, are battling it out. They're side by side. That's the battle for 4th and 5th on the track as Wingfield clears Mashburn but not for long.
Crossover.
So yeah, the 31's going to try to make that little crossover work. Be a run back down towards this left-handing Uke tire. Ooh, big lockup there for Wingfield. Now enter Sawyer Holden for 3 wide, maybe?
Yeah, Holden is going to get by Wingfield now, go side by side with the number 31. However, I don't think it was a lockup we saw going into 3 there. I think the issue is see Holden get loose off the corner and the 31 fall back behind Wingfield once more. Is in that braking zone, I'm seeing the 31 not stop. Kick around a little bit more as we go back to the battle for 2nd, and Thompson now going to have the inside line against Bjornsson.
Yeah, that 4 car had a lot of speed in practice today, Derek, and now the 01's trying to make the crossover work, keep the nose in, but not going to be there. Not enough traction for him coming off that wet turn 4. Taylor Thompson up into 2nd place.
That's the battle. It's the hard of the wet conditions, as you can't count on your car to do the same thing it does in the dry. You can't necessarily go for that more speed up the tri-oval because you might lose control going into turn 3. See Mashburn shoot up the inside.
Big run for the 31.
But the sacrifice of that, you go real wide on the exit of the corner. Wingfield able to make the pass once more.
We'll see if Mashburn's maybe got a crossover as we have a car around, it looks like, Derek. See the point coming from the flag stand.
I think that might have been, yes, it was Surian in the number 67 going around.
I think we're still going, though. Looks like everything got straightened out.
Yeah, we stay green. Mooney your leader, Thompson in 2nd, Bjornsson in 3rd. As we're going to go side by side. On the left, the battle for the lead. On the right is the battle for 5th place, the final spot in the top 5 between Wingfield and Mashburn. So once again, you see Mashburn throw it up that high side, get it real loose, not able to hold it through the corner, and loses a ton of ground because she's trying to slingshot past into 3 and is costing her the exit of 4.
Yeah, that's the equation, is how much of that are you willing to sacrifice with all that speed into the turn. Now Mashburn just settles in this time around. It's going to maybe look decisive of move into 1 and 2. We're looking on the left side of the leaders. Taylor Thompson in that 4 is trying to find anything for Keegan Mooney. Not sure where the 01 of Tanner Bjornsson's moved off into in this picture. It looks like just battling a little further back. I think that's with Surya, not for position, however.
You saw Mooney throw the block coming down the front stretch. He's keeping his composure with where he drives, keeping the right line to cut off the best parts of the track for Thompson to try and make a pass. And while the exit is a little high, you see Mooney willing to guide it right back down in a fluid, smooth motion. That's what's kept him the lead so far, even though it seems Thompson might just be a little bit faster.
Yeah, we take a look. Mashburn's trying to find anything for Wingfield. Shooting around the outside now, just trying different lines as we look towards the battle. Thompson's got the bumper to Keegan Mooney. The 4 cars all over the 11 at the moment, trying to find a way around.
Mooney willing to use blocking techniques, take away those preferred lines, make sure your adversary can't go where she wants to go. It's Thompson still trying to reel in the driver of the number 11 with 11 more remaining. Mooney and Thompson still the battle for the lead. You see Mashburn trying to close the gap once more to Wingfield.
Yeah, we'll see if maybe the 01 of Tanner Bjornsson's gets back involved in this battle for the front. Right now, Wingfield, I think, has just settled in, opened up a nice little bit of a gap back to the 31 of Mashburn. So look towards the front stretch, crossing the line with 10 to go. Mooney's having to do everything he can to block the 4 of Taylor Thompson. That 11 car here might have a run for the 4, looking down the inside. No, backs out of it.
You see that is going to cost her. She's going to float up the track a little bit more while she is able to get back on the accelerator quicker, and it seems like she's got perhaps a little more grip than these other drivers. She closes once again, and down the backstretch, here comes Thompson, putting the nose underneath. Cut off once more, as it'll be one heat race worth of action when they make it back to the line.
Yeah, Keegan Mooney's playing some great defense there in that 11. Just, not letting the 4 find any kind of line here, although might be a crossover for the 4. Thompson is going to have another run down. Mooney, does get the nose down. Gets that car blocked again. The 4 cars had enough run out of turn 2, had enough speed, but Mooney's been able just to put the block at the right time. We'll see if that can continue. Mooney's got to hang on for 7 more laps.
Yeah, that's the issue. So much time still to go. Thompson has the luxury to carefully plan, make sure all these little ideas don't cost her the big thing at the end. See once more on the right side of your screen. Nope, we're going to go back to the left as Thompson dives low and still not able to make it by the 11 with 6 more remaining. Here's the run on the inside line, and she is clear of Mooney into 3.
Thompson, gets real loose for a moment through that turn, but hangs on to it. Does Keegan Mooney have an answer? He's going to have a run down towards the inside of turn 1. No, doesn't have it in the turn. Though right there, we'll see out of the turn. No, slides, falls, and the 4 of Taylor Thompson has driven away. We'll take a look now. Mashburn is looking to overtake Wingfield. They're side by side as we come to the line. Still got about 4 laps, and there's the leader of Taylor Thompson. Huge. Look at the gap she's opened up quickly towards Keegan Mooney. Now she's going to look to put 4th and 5th a lap down.
Like I said, I think Thompson was faster than Mooney. Mooney just using the skills and experience racing in this class a little longer to hold her off. And now, as the battle for 5th is hot in front of her, looking to find a way to get them both down a lap with 3 to go and not let Mooney catch back up with this traffic.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know how much you honestly want to get involved with this, because the last thing you want is a car in front of you or around you to lose traction and come and take you out of your spot. But Duswell gets around the 31 of Mashburn. Now Wingfield's the only other car in front of Thompson at the moment. Again, these cars are not for position. These are cars going down a lap. We'll see. When the 4 comes back around now after this time, it'll be the white flag for Taylor Thompson.
One more trip around for the number 4. Is Thompson trying to ride around this track? The gap big enough. She can probably afford at least one mistake against Keegan Mooney. Rolling here into turn number 3.
Yeah, we'll just bring it around, ease it around. Mooney's there, but not there as Taylor Thompson comes to the line and claims the checkered flag. Keegan Mooney in second. Tanner Bjornson will be our 3rd and final driver on the podium.
Well, we got a couple more. It's Holden, then it is going to be Wingfield rounding out your top 5. We will head on down to the Angel of the Wind's winner's circle to speak to your podium finishers.
All right, Tanner, tough race racing today. Just walk me through, what does the weather do to your head when you're thinking about, like, oh, well, this isn't going to be the driest race?
Don't go too fast in the corners or you will slide.
Yeah, talk about sliding around. So talk me through, how do you regain control in something like that when you're starting to slide?
Let off the gas.
Yeah, you got to get back off it. And who do you want to thank for helping you get out here tonight?
My dad, my mom, my stepmom, my brother, my grandma, Whiteside Steel, Stilly Auto Parts, Tire Pros of Arlington, Bees, Fabs and Tuning, everyone that came out here today, and my YouTube channel, Misfit Motorsports.
All right, let's give it up one more time. 3rd place, Tanner Bjornson. Kicking another tough race today, but up on the podium, how good does that feel?
Feels very nice.
Yeah, it feels good to be up. Again, tough conditions. What were you battling out there?
Battling my own car, battling the other drivers. I was pretty sad that the 4 car got around me, but there's nothing I could have done about it. With the conditions out there and it's still raining, it's really hard to drive out there.
And who do you want to thank for helping you get out here?
Vision Wheels, most importantly, for the wheels on the vehicle. Andy at Bellevue Les Schwab, Cars Auto Repair Specialist. Wholesale, Squires Auto Repair, Johnny Shine, and Officer Kevin Beretta, Speedy Recovery.
All right, let's give it up for the 11 of Keegan Mooney. All right, Taylor, top step of the podium. Just how good does that feel tonight?
Really good.
Feels good to be out here. Obviously, you were battling with the 11, the 01, and just the conditions. What's going through your head out there when you have all those factors?
I'm just thinking, just send it.
Yeah, it was tough to get around the 11. Who do you want to thank for helping to get out here tonight?
Weatherite Roofing, LB Motorsports, my mom and dad, LB Kurt and Dakota, and just everyone else who helped out.
Perfect. Race winner, Taylor Thompson.
Great race from all the people who make up the future of auto racing. That class has developed over the years. It's been amazing to watch. Congrats to Taylor on that amazing victory. We head now to our BECU Mini Stock main event. We promised you it'd be a good one. They will be led by the number 14 out of Snohomish, sponsored by Northwest Security and Sound of Austin Kramer. The 025 out of Granite Falls, sponsored by Waltz Demo and Excavating of Trent Gillespie.
The 81 is Bobby Fisher out of Lake Stevens, sponsored by Tire Pros of Arlington, alongside the 26 of Jimmy Absher out of Marysville, sponsored by NPM Welding and Fabrication.
In the number 16, subbing in tonight, sponsored by Brava Pizza in Snohomish, that is Mike Marthaler. In the number 33 out of Lake Stevens, sponsored by Edwards K&S Construction, that is Ryan Hausenfluck.
Starting on row 4, it's the current defending mini stock champion in the 221, Lyndon Smith out of Everett, sponsored by PRCBD.com. And the 12, Cole Raridan, sits in for Gavin Blue in the Absher Build LLC car.
The number 72 is out of Federal Way, sponsored by United States Seafood. That is Ronnie Absher. In the number 18J, that's Jackson Beckel out of Snohomish, Tire Pros of Arlington, one of your ones to watch.
And rounding us out, the 18 of Paisley Bender, sponsored by Strideline Socks out of Snohomish.
Of course, our BECU mini stock's not possible without our friends at BECU. The Boeing Employee Credit Union believes in people over profit. BECU is altogether different. BECU is a proud sponsor of our mini stock class here at the Evergreen Speedway. Lights go out on the pace car, 1 till green. Your ones to watch, one more time, the 81 and the 18J.
Yeah, we saw them in the heat race. They come into this race deadlocked in points for the championship. So whoever finishes better between the 18J and the 81 will come out of this race sitting on top of the point standings. But we also can't be afraid to point out the 16's been fast, the 221's in the field, that's your defending champ, and the 33, Hausenfluck, he has a championship under his belt as well.
Rolling out of turn 4, they look to the Central Welding Supply flag stand. Green is in the air, and they will roll into turn number 1. Field, you see bunched up there in the mid-pack, but Trent Gillespie easily going to jump to the lead, but caution flag will fly for a bad start. We'll regrid him back up here for our lovely little full restart.
Yeah.
Gillespie still on the high side, Kramer on the low side. You gotta go together.
Yeah, you got to go together, and that is one thing. If they don't, they're going to throw the green flag regardless, and if they don't like the start, then they'll throw the caution and bring them all back together. That's exactly what we did here, so the pace car will head off one more time. Derek, let's try this again.
That we will. Kramer on the inside, Gillespie on the high, rolling their way through turn number 3. And exiting off of turn number 4, looking to the Central Welding Supply flag stand. The green is in the air. Gillespie gets another great jump, clears Kramer into turn number 1. It is Trent Gillespie, Austin Kramer. You see the run coming on the inside. The 81 going to be able to make the move up into third, maybe not. Jimmy Absher sticks there in the high, but the let up and the break of the 14 giving the opportunity for the 81 to probably grab second, and he will off of turn number 4. 1 down. 39 to go.
Yeah, Marthaler in that 16 looked like he was going to try to shoot up the inside of those cars. Thought about it twice, went up the track.
As you see Gillespie going to try and pull away from the rest of your field. Kramer falling back now into the 4th place spot. As we see Absher pulling away in the number 26 machine. Fisher and Absher, 2 cars you definitely got to watch. But it has been Bobby Fisher's story this season. Him and Justin Brave, the cars to watch, dominating in the mini stock so far. But when bad luck has hit them, bad luck's hit hard, and that's what's allowed the consistency of Jackson Beckel to be in the conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. And unfortunately, like we talked about, Justin Brave not here today. Bummer that we don't have him in this field, but also understandable with the way the weather is acting up on us throughout the day. So right now Gillespie leads, and that gap has opened up. Fisher and Absher running away from this group where we see Kramer and Hausenfluck, and there's the man, Jackson Beckel in his 18J, trying to make the move on Ryan Hausenfluck in the 33.
Talked a little about it in the heat race if you were joining us for that. If you hadn't, well, the top line on a banked track during the wet conditions is probably going to be the most grippy line most of the time. That's why you see the 18J putting it all on the line, running that very top groove along the outside of the racetrack, because that's where the opportunity is. You can get more grip, power off those corners, and get a great run, but you're going to sacrifice a little bit of that mid-corner speed. As now Jackson Beckel takes it to the inside, gets by Austin Kramer. It looks like he's going to have opportunity to try and get by Ryan Hausenfluck as well.
You'll see if he can clear the 33. Doesn't look like he can. Now he's pushed down towards this low lane, and not exactly where maybe you want to be right now if you're Jackson Beckel.
Well, the laws of gravity, as you might recall, push things down, and when you got a banked track, all the water's going to start to pool at the bottom of the track. That's not what you want when you're a driver. It can get your car real loose, get you out of sorts. As you see, Beckel still trying to work against Hausenfluck, going up on the high side. We cut back to our leaders, Gillespie out front. And you see, once more, the 18J found his way to the top groove. Well, Ryan running a bit more of a middle line. See the 33 sticking in that middle groove between the two dashed white lines.
Here's our battle for the front. Trent Gillespie has a little bit of a gap back towards the 81, and now Beckel's got the high line on Hausenfluck. Kramer behind him's loose and into the grass.
Oh, he's up and into the grass, and around goes the 14 of Austin Kramer. Problems for the driver in the number 14 mini stock. Lost it going into turn number 1. Looks like we got some replays to show you.
It looks like the caution flag is out, Derek, for the 14 of Austin Kramer. Let's take a look here. This is the onboard. Well, that is a wet windshield. Yeah, you can see him get loose there, and hello, grass.
Yeah, track just real slick there underneath the number 14. Unfortunately, he will go around off and out of bounds into the grass in between turn 1 of the 3/8 and the 5/8. Well, we will head to commercial break. More Home Track Heroes here on Seattle 11 coming up in just a moment. Welcome back to Home Track Heroes here on Seattle 11, presented by our friends at Gene Johnson Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. I'm Derek Tonoff. Alongside me is Ben Iman.
How's it going?
And we return to our BECU Mini Stock main event. On the inside, the number 81 of Bobby Fisher. Outside is Trent Gillespie. We're 8 laps in, 32 to go. As we roll on through and out of turn number 4, looking at the Central Welding Supply flag stand, and we are green flag racing.
Back underway. Bobby Fisher's going to have a good run on Trent Gillespie. It was Gillespie, Fisher, and Absher that were battling for the lead earlier. Now we get the restart, and Fisher might have Gillespie clear. Jackson Beckel's cleared his way up into 4th, and a huge lunge from the 18J off that high line. It's going to put him in this leader's group as he gets loose. Hangs on to it, however.
Yeah, it's going to fall him back into the 4th place spot, but you saw how fast he was through that corner. Watch the 81. When he enters into 3, you see a massive let up. So he steps off the accelerator and just drops back towards the cars coming at him. However, that speed on the straights is what's keeping him in front. His battles further back, see Lyndon Smith and Cole Raridan. In what is the battle for 5th, Trent Gillespie currently holding off the number 26 machine of Jimmy Abshers. Here comes the 18J, loose again through 1 and 2.
Yeah, it looks like Ryan Hausenfluck's fallen a little bit. Not sure if there's problems for the 33, but a huge gap opening up between our 4 cars in the front battling out for the podium, back to Lyndon Smith in the 221.
Well, we gave you your ones to watch, and you're free to make your picks. As, if you want to do that, head to Angel of the Winds Casino Resort, which now has sports betting. Think you can pick a winner? Prove it at Angel of the Winds Casino and Resort, the only home for sports betting north of Seattle. Exit 210 off of I-5 in Arlington. Angel of the Winds Casino and Resort, official sponsor of Evergreen Speedway. Battle for 3rd is hot once again. Gillespie on the inside, Beckel on the high.
Yeah, side by side, cross the line here. Here's Lyndon Smith trying to get up into this front group. A gap starting to open up a little bit right now. Fisher and Absher's got a little bit of room back to Gillespie, and Beckel's trying to run down the 025. Again, using that high line, the 18J is really, although it seems like he's the only car willing to venture out there, now he's got a crossover run down the inside of Trent Gillespie.
You got to try new things. When one thing isn't working, find a new groove. And if you're lucky, you might be able to push your enemy, so to speak, out of their preferred line. Take over and be able to capitalize as he will do exactly that. Up into third is the 18J of Jackson Beckel. Following him, though, 221 of Lyndon Smith, all over the back of the 025 of Trent Gillespie. He wants to get on by and up threaten for the podium spots.
Yeah, the JBR car is coming alive here in the long run here in the wet. And Jackson Beckel and Lyndon Smith teammates, of course, on this track. And Trent Gillespie currently splitting them as we'll go on board with the 221 of Lyndon Smith, looking to run down Trent Gillespie. You can see the rain still falling here today so far, unfortunately for these drivers. Now he's going to run that high line. You can see how much higher Jackson Beckel's getting than maybe the rest of the field. Using all of the top, as much of that top he can use. Yeah, that whole thing. Now Lyndon Smith's going to come alongside Trent Gillespie. He's not going to have enough to clear, but he's going to have a big run down off the little bump of the exit of the 3/8. It's going to try to slingshot off the wall around Gillespie.
Yeah, you see Gillespie get loose there on the bottom. Opportunity for the 221, but the 18J has also had some loose condition problems through 3 and 4. It's brought the 221 within striking distance of his teammate Jackson Beckel. He'll try and look low. Once more, Beckel sideways. It's now their single file. That's third back to the 6th place spot. Beckel, Smith, Gillespie, and Raridan.
Yeah, Smith's trying to lunge up the inside of Jackson Beckel. They're close for sure. Beckel gets back up towards that high end of the track that he likes. Smith running this kind of middle groove in his PRCBD 221. Coming off looking, ooh, Beckel, those two get close. Again, neither one of them really wanting to get into each other. So they've currently settled in 3rd and 4th. Jimmy Absher, you can see a little bit further out there, and Bobby Fisher.
Oh, contact.
Gone on the win. Oh, now they do get into each other a little bit.
Smith a little tap to the left rear of the 18J. Doesn't seem to hinder Beckel too much, as he now will have to navigate the 18 of Paisley Bender. The third and final JBR teammate in this one, as both of them going to go up the high side, clear on and through. As that might have been what the 18J of Jackson Beckel needed to get on away from Lyndon Smith.
Yeah, he's started to open up that gap to Lyndon Smith. I wonder if that little tap affected Lyndon more than it affected Jackson. We'll see if he can settle in, but right now, 20 laps to go. We're kind of settling
halfway
in
home.
still. Yeah, we are halfway home. Smith is trying to run down Beckel. The gap continues, it looks like, to be growing from Absher. Fisher's just gone all the way up. He's entering turn 3 as these two teammates are exiting out of turn 2.
Hey, every time these cars go side by side to battle, that allows the leaders to get further and further away. The air all changing, a bit of side drafting going on is going to suck the cars back, take away the speed, take away a line. All that stuff leads to first and second pulling away from this battle for third.
Yeah, Lyndon Smith has done well to close the gap back up to Jackson Beckel. Might have a lunge down here. No, Beckel closes the door off on the 221. Smith's going to take it towards the high line. Maybe he's got a crossover run or something. You can see it's still raining pretty hard on these drivers. Conditions not favorable, but these drivers are making it work.
Well, another piece of that, as you see Beckel get a little loose, is if you're behind another car, the water sprayed up from the tires is going to get on your windshield, affect your vision. You don't want to necessarily be right behind another mini stock driver right now. You want to try and find your way where you have clear visibility and a clear shot to get by, and that's what Lyndon Smith seems to be doing as he goes to the inside.
Smith's going to come alongside Jackson Beckel. They're side by side, getting up the track a little bit.
Ooh, might have been contact.
Yeah, trying to keep it clean, keep space between them. They're neither one willing to back out of this. They're still side by side as they come around 3 and 4. Who will have the better exit out of turn 4 right now? It's Smith so tight between those two. Neither one willing to give an inch. My goodness, what a battle here between the 18J and the 221.
Teammates here see the 221 going to slide into the third place spot. Lyndon Smith up onto the podium position. Jackson Beckel running right now in 4th. Bobby Fisher, your race leader. You see the gap between him and the 26 of Jimmy Absher. There's Absher and there's Smith as they have fallen back from your race leader. The blue and red 81 machine pulling away. This is not what you want to see if you're Lyndon. As you've just gotten by your teammate in the 18J, you still got to get by Jimmy, and then you got to find a way to catch up to the 81.
Yeah, we talk about Bobby Fisher and Jackson Beckel. your top two in points. If Beckel finishes fourth here, he's gonna lose a significant amount of points to Bobby Fischer in that 81. Lyndon Smith, good. We lost that car for a week. Good to see it getting back out here and being fast. And Jimmy Absher, those, when Smith and Beckel were battling, that just allowed Absher and Fischer to kind of check out. Although it looks like Absher might be getting a little bit reined in here by these two JBR cars coming third and fourth.
Yeah, Absher's speed has fallen off a little bit. And it's resulted in him falling back to the 221 and to the 18J. And away from the 81 is, whoa, two cars around.
What happened here?
Up into the dirt. He's refired, but the 14 of Austin Kramer is up and around. And
Caution.
that will bring out the yellow.
Yeah, let's take a look at what happened here. Here's Gillespie. Oh, no, don't know exactly what happened for Trent Gillespie there. But all into the grass, tried to quickly get back up onto the track. And, hi, Austin Kramer. Kramer trying to avoid contact with the 025. Started to get loose, and he was sat right smack dab in the middle of that turn. Take a look here. Yeah, there's Gillespie getting loose, and I think Kramer started to get loose before Gillespie returned to the track. So
just a combo of things that unfortunately do not fall favorably for Trent Gillespie and Austin Kramer. We are under caution conditions. We will return to Green Flag Racing here in the BECU Mini Stock main event. 13 laps remain. Pace car takes the hard left off as it's Bobby Fischer inside, Jimmy Absher out. Then it is Lyndon Smith, Jackson Beckel, Cole Raridan, Ryan Hausenfluck. So we've got 13 more out of turn number 4. Green is in the air. We're back underway.
What a terrible, if you're Absher and Fischer, what a terrible situation to be in is Beckel. Oh, got the back bumper to Absher. Oh, no, Jimmy Absher pushed up the track. Jackson Beckel's forcing the issue early off the restart.
Yeah, you see Beckel able to now go side by side in the battle for second. Absher falling back to the battle for fourth with Raridan. They're neck and neck throughout the field. Teammates once more for position. This time it's Smith who gets loose, and off of the corner, Jackson Beckel clear up into second.
Yeah, Beckel not messing around on this restart. He knows if he wants to get Bobby Fischer, it's probably going to have to be in these first couple laps after restarting. And he was on the unfortunate end of this, had built up a big gap previously. And, what's wrong with the 81? Beckel's just all of a sudden ringed him in. So's the rest of the field. Jackson Beckel's battling for the lead.
That he is. You see the battle, meanwhile, for third now, 3 wide. Raridan on the inside, making a sandwich out of the 26 of Absher. As Absher might have slid up and into the 221. Smith falling back a little bit. Battle for the lead still. 18J on the high side. Bobby Fischer on the low. Smith going to make it 3 wide once more. In the middle is Jimmy Absher as they exit off at turn number 4. Contact! And it looks like the two of them are spinning. Raridan and Absher. Absher into the uke.
Big contact there on the front stretch into the uke tires. Raridan and Absher. Well, let's take a look here. Oh, that does not look good for the 26. That might be day over for Jimmy Absher. Here's the onboard behind with Bobby Fischer. Yeah, Raridan slid up the track, just collected that back left rear of Jimmy Absher, and into the uke tire he went. Let's go on board with Absher.
Yeah, you see, just losing control and right into the uke. Anger, it looks like, on the face, or with the expressions of the 26 of Absher. Here's from the speed shot camera, just slides right into it.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's...
Conditions, probably. Tough racing right there. Raridan just came up the track. Lyndon Smith also was fortunate that Jimmy Absher didn't grab him and brought him into that.
Yeah, I think that's just a combo of all those factors, And as you see the number 26 rolling down the front stretch, this might be the end of his night, but it's not the end of our action, as more Home Track Heroes here on Seattle 11 coming up here in just a moment. Welcome back to Home Track Heroes here on Seattle 11, presented by our friends at Gene Johnson Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. I'm Derek Todoff. Alongside me is Ben Iman.
How do you do?
And welcome back to the BECU Mini Stock main event. We have 11 to go. Bobby Fischer, Jackson Beckel went side by side. And then a caution came out. It stacked him back up. Jimmy Absher has returned, but we will go Green Flag Racing as they exit off of 4.
A huge jump for the 81 of Bobby Fischer, but Jackson Beckel has the favorable high line. The 18J, this is your championship battle in points as we look towards later on in the year. Obviously, now contending for this race win as the 81 had to check up way early. Jackson Beckel's going to look to clear him. He does. Jackson Beckel, new race leader.
Karmic retribution in some ways if you're Jackson Beckel. A couple of weeks back, had a lead taken from him, 10-second lead by a caution. that cost him the win. Now his own caution might benefit and lead to his own race win. Fisher and Marthaler still behind him, battling it out as they will stay side by side. Marthaler not letting up on the high side. Lyndon Smith waiting in the wings, the defending champion, sits fourth as car sideways, 2 cars sideways, and Hausenfluck saves it.
Wow, Ryan Hausenfluck, how do you do? What a save there for the 33. Kept that car primarily out of trouble, and will stay green.
The former Hornet champion with a great save there. Also in the background, Cole Raridan got sideways through 3 and 4. He as well will stick it and keep the car going straight. He's got Ryan in his rear view mirror coming for that 5th place spot.
Yeah, looks like Jimmy Absher is also clearing a few cars, picking up a few more spots. We look, here's the battle. Mike Marthaler and Lyndon Smith. Those cars currently run 3rd and 4th. Beckles got Bobby Fisher running him down, and those two have, whoa, the 18J gets real loose. Here comes Bobby Fisher.
Fisher is going to clear by a little bit, but you remember what I said last segment. You see how much he lets up into turn number 3. It gives an opportunity for the 18J to go door to door as they exit off
Contact.
A little bit of contact. The 18J gets a little loose. They stay side by side when they enter into turn number 1.
Wow, these two showing each other, giving each other the business, but also racing each other. Tough, clean battle here. Your points leaders now coming back towards turn 3. Jackson Beckles trying to clear Bobby Fisher.
Fisher sideways this time. You saw him let up once again into turn number 3 off of the corner. Here comes the 18J at the line. Give it to Jackson, and he is clear.
Yeah, Beckel clears him again. Beckel's trying to get that first win in a mini stock. Bobby Fisher's going to have a good run down here. He's going to have so much speed in the straightaway. Here he comes. And a huge let off there. Yeah, now the 18J is going to have that high side line. Can he clear him? Here's Lyndon Smith emerging into the battle. He's gotten away from Marthaler.
Don't count out the defending champion. He might take advantage of this side-by-side battle. Now Beckel seems to have cleared as I said that. Oh, here comes the run once more for Bobby Fisher. That insane corner exit pokes the nose in. Nothing more, though. We will get 3 to go when they make it back to the line. Jackson Beckel, your race leader. Bobby Fisher second. Lyndon Smith in third.
Yeah, Bobby Fisher has so much speed in these straightaways right now. Lyndon Smith's just waiting in the wings. 3 laps remaining. Can Jackson Beckel hang on? Here comes the 81. Does Bobby Fisher have it this time by?
The let off again.
He's trying to keep the nose in as best as he can. 18J, Jackson Beckel's not away. Ooh, a little squirrely from the 81.
2 to go at the line this time. You see it'll be the white next time. Beckel in the lead, Fisher, Smith, both within shooting range. Opportunity might come. Gotta wonder who will take it. See the 81 look low again, let off once more. As Marthaler in the 16 also closing the gap.
Yeah, the 221 4 cars are going to be battling out for this podium. Jackson Beckel's white flag in the air one more time by for the Tire Pros of Arlington. 18J, the 81's loose.
Sideways almost completely for Bobby Fisher. Here comes Lyndon Smith threatening him, but that battle seems to have sealed the deal. Rolling through turn number 3, you see the 81 get loose one more time. He's falling back through the field like a rock, but coming to the checkered, it will be Jackson Beckel across the line. Lyndon Smith in second, Mike Marthaler in third, and around goes the 81 after crossing in fourth.
Wow, what a finish. What a finish. Beckel, Smith, and Marthaler our podium.
We'll talk to them down at the Angel Wins Winner's Circle here on Home Track Heroes.
All right, Travis, that was kind of a chaotic race at times. You were moving up and down the field. How good does third place feel?
It feels good. Travis actually put me in this car. My name is Mike Marthaler. Nice to meet y'all.
Well, no one told us that. I apologize. Mike Marthaler, third place.
Yeah, it was really wet out there, but gosh, I can't believe they still make us do this crap in the rain.
Yeah, the weather really throws a wrench in the race, you'd say. Well, then jumping in a car that you haven't been driving, what goes through your head when you're having to navigate that?
Well, I'm also in charge of setting this thing up, so it was nice to be able to do some adjustments and see what it does in the rain, and I think it'll help Travis a lot going forward. But yeah, it was actually pretty good. Just got to get that top groove and stay up there, and if you leave it, then people are swarming like sharks.
And who do you want to thank tonight?
I'd like to thank Travis for putting me in it, Simon & Sons Towing, Brava Pizza and Pasta, and everyone else who helps this 16 team.
All right, we give it up, Mike Marthaler. All right, I do know for a fact that you are Lyndon, so just talk me through racing tonight. Tough conditions out there. Just what did you need to get up to first?
I mean, it's just patience. Rain races, it's really patience. I mean, you can start in the back and be in the front by 2 laps. So I just kept my head on me and just took it slow for the start and then kind of started to push towards the end.
Yeah, a couple caution flags came at awkward times. What do you have to do when you got to restart late in a race?
Try not to spin it.
Yeah, absolutely. And who do you want to thank tonight?
I got to thank PRCBD, Bosworth Trucking and Grading, JBR. They've been helping me so much this season. My spotter, my mom, and just anybody who's helped me get here.
Perfect. Give it up. Second place tonight, Lyndon Smith. Jackson Beckel, mini stock race winner. How good does that sound?
After this year, it sounds great. I don't know, those restarts really helped me. I don't know.
Yeah, you were battling through traffic all day, having to navigate, coming through the field, battling off your teammate who was clearly fast. Just walk me through, what do you have to do when you see the 81, you're like, all right, one more to pass?
You know, once the restart came back out, I knew I had him on the outside. I don't know if I could pinch him down low. I knew I could get the dry up top, but other than that, I really don't know.
And who do you want to thank for helping you get out here tonight?
Joe's Racing Products, JBR, Augie, my dad, Lane Sunholm, my biggest fan, Nema, Tire Pros Arlington, Bill Hunt, my sister, I don't know, everyone that came and helped me today.
All right, let's give it up. Race winner, Jackson Beckel.
Such a great BECU mini stock main event.
I can't say what a great race. Congrats to Jackson Beckel, first win in a mini stock.
Yeah, you know, dominant in the Stinger 8s, now turns to minis, and that was a great performance. Speaking of the 8, we head to our first of 2 Monroe Grocery Outlet Superstock Figure 8 main events. They are led on the inside by the number 52 with Keith Taylor, sponsored by Black Thunder Transport. 17X on the outside of Ricky Argus, out of Stanwood, sponsored by McCarthy General Contractor.
The 43s out of Darrington, driven by Sheridan Vincent, sponsored by Siskin Power Equipment. It's alongside the 76S of Chris Southard out of Everett, sponsored by All Solved Plumbing.
The number 67, Mackenzie Dietz, is next in line out of Monroe, sponsored by BECU. The 88, subbing in for Guy Litz, that's the Grizz, Doug Delfell, sponsored by Protocol Plumbing and Sewer.
Next up in the 72, sponsored by Pilchuck Heating out of Arlington, it's Jeff Talbert. And the 63, Big Bird, is Robert Weldon out of Arlington, sponsored by All Ply Roofing, LLC.
In the number 5, out of Aberdeen, sponsored by Mary's Towing, that's the one-armed bandit, Quentin Borison. And next to him, another legend of Figure 8 Racing, sponsored by Homegrown Hair Studio. Subbing in the number 45, that's the Cowboy, John Carlson.
And rounding us out, first out of Tacoma in the 98 is Aaron Flett, sponsored by Kent Collision Center. And the 69 is RJ Mackey out of Gold Bar, sponsored by Blue Jay Productions.
Great race ahead of us, to be sure. However, this segment brought to us by our amazing friends at Central Welding. Central Welding Supply's mission of excellent service hasn't changed since 1975. Locally owned, larger inventory, and expert staff makes the difference at 27 locations. Find one near you at centralwelding.com, helping us bring you all the great action here on Home Track Heroes.
Of course, big shout out to Central Welding Supplies. We're getting ready to rumble. Twin 30s for the Monroe Grocery Outlet Super Stock Figure 8s. Derek, who are you watching here in our first of 2 events?
Ooh, man, I gotta look to Grizz and the number 88, Doug Delfell.
Yeah, that's a good shout out. I'm gonna look towards the back. The Cowboy John Carlson starts in Chevy Vincent's 45. I'm sure that car is gonna be fast tonight. Green flag in the air. Taylor and Yargus bring us to start.
Taylor will have the inside line, clears Yargus into turn number 1, but you see everyone stacking up further back. It is Sheridan Vincent trying to find a way around Yargus now. It'll switch on over to the high line. Fun fact, Ben, out in the Midwest, they call the intersection the crossover.
I did not know that. We call it the intersection here. We call it the most dangerous intersection in the West. I could see where they call it the crossover, and Right now, these drivers are all crossing over left, right, and they're settling into this 30-lap main event.
Yargis, you see looking on the lower lane. You saw him have a little bit of trouble in his heat races, trying to keep the car underneath him. Speaking of that, around goes the 52 at Taylor. In front of the field, Yargis assumes the lead. Taylor going to try and get refired. We see if he will. And jury's still out. We'll focus right now on Yargis, Vincent, and Delfell, your top three coming across the line. And I see the 52 moving, so we will stay green flag racing.
Yeah, Mackenzie Dietz is closing in on the 50-year veteran Doug Delfell Talbert and the one-armed bandit all looming like sharks in the water. Looks like we have more cars around.
That looked like Aaron Flett might have gone for a little bit of a spin, recovered it, continues on forward. We ride along with Mackenzie Dietz in fourth right now on the back bumper of Doug Delfell, the Grizz, the 50-year veteran. Honored, actually, here at Driver Reunion Night.
Yeah, Doug Delfell, congrats to him, honored earlier, and now has a chance to grab upon a podium, maybe grab a win subbing in for Guy Litz. Always fun to see him out here.
That would feel pretty good, I am sure. Yargis out in front, 43 of Vincent running there in the second place spot. Then Delfell, then Dietz, and then it is the 72 at Talbot.
Yeah, right now we're going to settle in. It's a long night, and especially we got one more of these, so drivers might be a little bit more cautious here than they would be normally. The wet conditions are also playing a factor. These drivers are not afraid to use the elbows. In fact, they use the elbow, the shoulder, and the entire side of the body when usually battling each other, as Sheridan Vincent's having to defend the Grizz, Doug Delfell here, but maybe a little bit more cautious, Derek, with the conditions and the fact that they're running another race.
Well, you saw Delfell get a little bit loose. I've seen instances in the past where drivers will get loose, they'll keep their foot in it. Delfell let on up, and that allowed the 43 to get away, but now he crossed over, managed to get on through, and now up into second goes Doug Delfell. Talbot, meanwhile, threatening both Vincent and Mackenzie Dietz, as Cowboy and the one-armed bandit taking their time, getting ready to place their shots.
Yeah, it's a lot. There's a lot of racing still to happen for these drivers tonight. Right now we're settling in. Talbert's trying to get around Mackenzie Dietz, and there's, like you mentioned, Borison and Carlson. They're just looming, waiting for someone to give them a gap. They might be faster at the moment. Rick Yargis is doing a good job leading this field. Doug Delfell, Sheridan Vincent currently where we sit, and now Dietz has cleared Talbot, so Mackenzie Dietz up into fourth.
It all starts with an inch, and then you can take the mile. That's how it works here in figure eight racing. You got to find the gap. I know you like to quote Ayrton Senna when it comes to gaps.
I do. You talk about if you are really a race car driver, if you see a gap and you don't go for it.
Yeah, that's a great question. You see Vincent currently holding off the 67 of Mackenzie Dietz. Beating, banging there. That's how figure eight racing is. It's a very physical sport. It's one of the hardest parts of it, as Doug Delfell taking advantage of Rick Yargis' let up, and around goes Yargis after contact with Delfell, paving the path forward. And now Delfell spins.
Everyone's getting loose, Derek.
That'll put Vincent in the lead for now. Here comes Mackenzie Dietz on the low lane. The one-armed bandit putting the pressure on the back of the 43. And Cowboy going to follow Mackenzie on the inside. Mackenzie Dietz will take the lead here in our first of the Twin 30s for the Monroe Grocery Outlet Superstock Figure 8s. Now Vincent trying to hold off his son's car and the one-armed bandit at the same time. No easy feat. Not something I think he'd wish on his worst enemy.
No, I'm sure it wouldn't be easy defending from the one-armed bandit and Chevy if Chevy was driving tonight, but that's not Chevy, that's the Cowboy. So it's an even probably tougher feat for Sheridan. So we're taking a look. Mackenzie Dietz settles in. We'll have 18 more laps to defend this lead. Talbert's looming in the win, but right now Borison's trying to, it looks like he's cleared Carlson for now. Sheridan Vincent's getting swarmed, trying to defend that line. Borison's trying to bring that car alongside. He's going to have the inside run for the 5. See if Carlson looks to follow him through. He does. Does Sheridan Vincent have the traction out of the turn? Stays side by side. No, slips behind. A double pass. Borison and Carlson slip alongside Sheridan Vincent.
Second and third right now, total 15 figure eight championships between them. As on one hand, you got the one-armed bandit, Quentin Borison, dominant in the Superstock figure eight class over the years. In the other, the Cowboy, John Carlson, driver who has won in Super Figure Eights back in the day, Outlaw Figure Eights, and is last year's Superstock Figure Eight champion. They're both chasing down someone with 0 titles to her name. She's trying to change that this year. Winningest driver on the season, Mackenzie Dietz, your race leader.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy, though. Dietz has her work cut out for her with Borison and Carlson trying to run her down. Neither one of them are just going to give her the race win, that's for sure.
We are halfway home after they cross the line there. 15 down, 15 to go in our first twin 30.
Yeah, oh, Aaron Flett just lets up in that 98. That freshly new minted 98 for Aaron Flett, Derek.
Brand new, pulled on out here. Cash in hand, bought it and bring it on out. And that brand new, freshly minted car has come to a stop here and bring out the caution. As something back there, I think that might be a rear brake caliper, has come off. And here's the replay, the 98 coming to a stop to dodge the leaders, and then I think just stalling it out. Real unfortunate for Aaron Flett in his season debut, as we will have more Home Track Heroes racing here on Seattle 11 in just a moment. Welcome back to Home Track Heroes here on Seattle 11, presented by our friends at Gene Johnson Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. I'm Derek Todoroff. Alongside me is Ben Iman.
How's it going, Derek?
And welcome back to the Monroe Grocery Outlet Superstock Figure Eights. They get all set up to conclude the final 15 laps of their first 30-lap race of the night. They are Green Flag Racing halfway home in this one, led by Mackenzie Dietz.
Now Mackenzie Dietz gets the jump in the Delaware-style restart. Quentin Borison and John Carlson subbing in for Chevy Vincent today. That's your front three at the moment. Sheridan Vincent, Jeff Talbert running 4th, 5th.
Yeah, it's the battle between two veterans. 15 championships between the two of them. As Cowboy looks to come out on top. See the water flying every which way as they come on through the intersection. Well, this segment's brought to you by Chain Lake Express Car Wash. For absolutely the best car wash ever, treat your favorite ride to the brand new Chain Lake Express Wash here in Monroe. Express Wash has multiple wash packages designed to meet your budget and needs. Manage your Chain Lake Express Wash account easily on the go. Download the app from the App Store or Google Play today. It's Chain Lake Express Wash, the friends bringing you this lovely segment of Home Track Heroes. As you see the 67 of Mackenzie Dietz continuing to lead over John Carlson and Quentin Borison.
Yeah, that's a lot of skill and a lot of veteran raceship behind her. You could say craftsmanship, I guess is a better word. So Mackenzie Dietz, quite the skilled driver herself, has her work cut out for her. Going to have to defend from Cowboy Carlson and Quentin Borison for about 12 more laps. And we can't mention that Talbert and Vincent waiting in the wings. If one of them gets loose, goes around, something happens. Those drivers are looking to capitalize.
Hey, taking your time, placing your car in the right place is just as important as any other facet of racing. You gotta know when to push it, when to let off, and when to just throw it all in there, put all the chips down, and bet on black. Yeah,
absolutely. You have to know timing is everything in this case. You know, you sometimes when you don't time it right, you just gotta shake it off. Derek, we're gonna go on board with the Cowboy, John Carlson, going bump, bump, bump to Mackenzie Dietz as they're rolling through the turn. Clear intersection for them there as they come into the right-hander now. And looking to take it easy. Carlson not close enough there. Oh, he might have a run here now. And Dietz, no, the intersection's playing nice for them right now, Derek. Not starting to sizzle up.
Yeah, you know, that's one of the hard parts of figure eight racing. You have just moments to make your choice. Are you going to go for it? Are you going to let up? And any moment of hesitation can cost you big time. Can result in a hit in the intersection or many other things. You see 6-7 continuing to lead. Hold off John Carlson, the Cowboy, not able to find a way on through. He's in that same situation we talked about a little earlier on in the night, where you've got to try and pass the driver in front of you and hold off a very talented driver who's chasing you.
Yeah, absolutely. We talked about being in the middle of the sandwich is not ideal. But Cowboy Carlson, if there's anyone to be the middle of the sandwich, it's him. Quentin Borison's giving him his work. Jeff Talbert's like, hey, maybe one of these drivers will make a mistake and I can capitalize, or maybe I can get Borison moved if need be. We're under a heat race's distance to go. Dietz has 7 more laps to defend from the drivers behind.
Yeah, she's shown so far this season. She's there in the clutch moments. She's put on quite the clinic. Earlier on, as we jump back, looking a bit further in our field, you see Sheridan Vincent in 5th, Robert Weldon in 6th, chasing him down as there's your top 4, still in their single file train, making their way around. Talk about betting it all on black. I'd bet it all on scarlet when it comes to Superstock Figure 8 racing.
Yeah, right now you can see that red and yellow 67's making its way around, playing tough defense. So we're looking a little further in the back. Sheridan Vincent, Robert Weldon, everything stayed calm between those two. If you watched along last week, you mentioned Sheridan Vincent had some choice words for the 63 on the podium in the Angel That Wins winner's circle, excuse me. But so far, everything stayed calm. Again, maybe it's a twin feature that might have something to do with it. But right now, it's all Mackenzie Dietz, a single file train behind her. Cowboy Carlson not quite able to close up like he would need to. 4 to go.
Cowboys got company behind him as you see them go right behind the tail end of your field. Cowboy still has the one-arm bandit beating Bang and letting him know, hey, I want on by. He's chasing a title. Cowboy isn't. He's just earning points for Chevy Vincent. But at the same time, you can't give in. If you're the number 5, you want to hold on to this title. You want to try and win another one.
Yeah, absolutely. Borison is not going to let Carlson go easy 3 laps, and Mackenzie Dietz is not going to get away easy from any of them, that's for sure. Jeff Talbert's hanging around in a close 4th currently. The intersection's starting to heat up a little bit, but those drivers previously that were a little further back held up for this front leaders group, so the gaps have found right where they need to be for the leaders. 2 to go.
Yeah, with 2 more remaining, they'll see the white next time. Mackenzie in front, Cowboy, then the one-arm bandit. Here's the battle. 5th through 7th, Delfell and 7th, Weldon 6th, and the 43, Sheridan Vincent in 5th. We go to the leaders as they roll through the left-hand corner. Mackenzie Dietz will take the white flag one more trip around in this first main event.
If Carlson or Borison or even Talbert have anything for Dietz, is a big stack up of slower cars from happened right in front of them. Now here's Rick Yargis appears right in front of the leaders. What might this do for the battle?
Doesn't look like it will do too much as they will exit off of the left-hander. A little bit of contact, but it won't do anything. It's sliding across the line and spinning around. That is Mackenzie Dietz, your race winner in the first Monroe Grocery Outlet Superstock main event of the night. As Cowboy in 2nd, the one-arm bandit in 3rd. See Mackenzie pull up to the podium. A great race from her, keeping her composure as we head to the podium.
Quentin, I know that was a good one for you, battling it out with 2 very talented drivers in front of you. But I want to highlight, you're going at it with the driver of the number 45 tonight, Cowboy. He was in your car last year. Think you got something to prove against him?
I think he had something to prove against me, but that's all right. It's we got one more main coming up here in a little bit, and it's going to be a good one, I think.
Keep your composure constantly throughout this. But on that last lap, when you see everything happening in front of you, does anything extra go through your mind?
I saw what was going on up there and stuff. It looked like there might be a little hole opening up, but it really didn't without making a mess out of the 2 leaders. So it's just better, we got one more race coming up, so it's just better to save the car for now and have it ready for the next race.
Wise words. Who helps you get the car out here?
We got Mary's Towing, Mary's Wreck Auto Parts. We've got Mary's Auto Sales, and all the people that help on my crew, Keith Taylor, Brandon Lovely, Tommy Gap, who makes everything happen. My brother Shane's out here tonight, and Chris and all the rest of the crew. My mom's here, or my brother John's here with Aaron in his new car, so that's kind of cool. And then I want to thank Olympia Pizza House for jumping on board of the old Dart, the 52 car. Thanks a lot, Nick Damanides. We really appreciate it.
Driver of the number 5, that is the one-arm bandit, Quentin Borison. So I guess the first question is, do you feel like you have something to prove racing against Quentin as he's driving the car you drove last year?
Oh yeah, we had some fun. That was a blast with that race, and we get to do a second round, so we'll see how second round turns out.
You're an outlaw driver lately, and especially this season, but swapping back and forth between them, let the viewers at home know, what's that like?
It's a little bit different running with the stock guys. I ain't going to tell everything. I'm going to leave a lot of it to myself, but it's fun to race with them, and it's fun to run with the outlaw guys. It's just 2 different classes and 2 different cars, but it's still fun, and it's figure 8 racing.
And who would you like to thank for getting your car out here tonight?
Well, I got to thank the Vincent and his wife, the Sheridan family, everybody. They let me drive the car because Chevy's doing some football stuff, and that kid could be going for a scholarship as he gets through everything. So, yeah, there we go.
Driver the number 45 tonight, that's the Cowboy, John Carlson. Alrighty, Mackenzie, 4 wins so far this season this one makes. But I want to highlight this one specifically because in your rearview mirror, 15 total figure 8 championships. Is there any extra pressure when you're in the seat and that's behind you?
Absolutely. There's so much pressure, and I could feel them on the back bumper. All I got to say is thank you guys for being nice. I know it's the first race tonight, so we didn't want to tear our stuff up, but I don't think that that's going to be the same in the second race. So we'll see how the second one goes. We have some adjustments to make, and we'll see if we can make it better for the second.
Well, speaking of, you look pretty good out there for the first one. How are you feeling getting a second shot for 30 laps this time?
I'm pretty excited. Anytime we get a chance to race, I'm all for it. Put me in a car. I don't care which one it is. I'll race it. I love racing. It's in our blood, and, I like to do it for you guys and the fans. And thank you to everybody that came out on this wet, cold day. We really do appreciate it. It really means a lot to us drivers, so thank you.
And who would you like to thank? And who would you like to thank for your performance out here tonight?
First and foremost, I got to thank Jake, my fiance. He's the one that keeps all of our cars running, my crew for just everything that they do, working on my car, and just my sponsors for allowing me to get out here and helping us. So BECU, Rep and Welding and Rail, Two Girls and a Leaf, Waltz Demo Excavating, J2, Joe's, just for all the parts that they put on our car. I know Buzzin' and my Uncle Ricky for being in my ears and helping me out. He keeps me calm in the car, and sometimes I can get a little overwhelmed and I don't know, I won't say it on here, but he calms me down.
Now we got one more thing for you to do before we let you go. First, get some applause for our race winner tonight, driver the 67, Mackenzie Dietz. And now, when we've got 2 races, the fun part is we draw the invert for the second one. The finishing order for the first. How do we restack them? 14, that's a full invert for the Super Stock figure 8s. So a full invert there for each and every one of our Super Stock figure 8s. Coming up after our FSCRA Super 4s.
Welcome back to Home Track Heroes here on Seattle 11, presented by our friends at Gene Johnson Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. I'm Derek Todoff. Alongside me is Ben Iman.
Hello.
As we now go racing on the 3/8s with the FSCRA, the Foreign Stock Car Racing Association Super 4s. Take 3/8s. We've seen them once before this season. I believe we'll see them one more time later on. So we've got 5 cars for 30 laps around our 3/8s oval. They are led by the number 10 of John Grosvenor out of Thompson Falls, Montana, sponsored by MJG Transport. The number 21 of Ron Grosvenor out of Algona, Washington, sponsored by MJG Transport of Auburn, Washington.
The 11 car is Bob Quarterman out of Granite Falls, sponsored by Midnight Solar. And the 45 Vig Roberts out of Kent is Car Guys Auto Sales.
Number 11U rounds out your field. That is Robert Golden. Once more, 5 cars for 30 laps around here. As this segment brought to you by Speedway Chevrolet. Visit Speedway Chevrolet and RV Center in Monroe for your customized trucks, lifted trucks, work trucks. Speedway Chevrolet can locate the truck that fits you best. Bringing you this amazing segment here. Also the presenting sponsor of our Speedway Chevrolet Pro Late models, which unfortunately did not get to run.
Unfortunately, we were going to get the Twin 70s, but now we're going to get to look at something similar to a late model, at least in design, but these are 4-cylinder engines, so maybe closer to those Youth Hornets that we saw earlier, and also slick tires. Derek, slick tires. So the weather conditions, not ideal for these drivers at all.
No, they are not, as that will let them slip and slide all over the track. It'll really be a test of handling skill here at Evergreen Speedway. As it's an old organization, fitting to be running here on driver reunion night. Their first race was in the Seattle Coliseum, which is nowadays Climate Pledge Arena, back in 1966. Made the move to the new 1/5 mile track here at Evergreen, calling it home until taking their show on the road in 1985. You know, my mother was not alive yet when these guys had their first race, so.
Yeah, the FSCRA has stoked in history, dripping with knowledge and previous action. So we're excited to see the Super 4s in action once again from Evergreen Speedway. So go on board. Vic Roberts, Ron Grosvenor, as these cars will tiptoe around. Turns 3 and 4 one final time, coming to the green.
Rolling out of 4, and there it is. Green flag in the air. You see in the top left, you got the speed shot view. At bottom are 2 lovely in-car cameras, and then you got the top right. Your battle for the lead, the Grosvenors, John and Ron, go neck and neck as Quarterman on the inside of the 45, Vic Roberts.
We have these two. The Grosvenors put on quite the show the last time they were out.
Shaping up to do it again.
Oh, car around early. The 11 car into the grass. That's not good.
That's Quarterman.
Yeah, Quarterman into the grass early. He's trying to bring that thing back out to the track. Has to go through a duck pond.
Yeah, he'll keep it going. You see all the steam and smoke coming off of that car as he pulls on away. Looks like he will continue on the bright side.
He does take the left back onto the track, so we'll keep that rolling.
Big thank you to Brandy Hood Promotions for all those amazing car shots you've seen over the course of the night on the GoPros. Could not do it without her, as you got to see those great shots from Vic Roberts.
Yeah, those are so cool every
Ron
week.
Grosvenor
Big shout out to her for doing those. They're one of my favorite parts to see on this show. Because right now the Grosvenor still neck and neck as they come around. Ron's your leader from John, and they're coming up on the back of Quarterman, who unfortunately slipped way out of the battle. And problems for the 45. Vic Roberts back out onto pit lane.
Yeah, unfortunate for Vic Roberts, but you see your leaders have to go around the number 11. That puts them in single file, at least for a little bit. As John looks like he's already reeling Ron back in. Ford Stock Car Racing Association, FSCRA, founded in 1965. One of the oldest continuous racing groups in North America, not just here in the Northwest. These are, in 1965, these cars were Vita Beagles, Peugeot, Renaults, even Simca or 2 could be seen racing on Saturday nights. Nowadays, they're known as Super 4s, a true 4-cylinder beast, primarily Ford, Honda, and Nissan engines with a maximum of 2,420 cc's.
These cars are definitely fast when the conditions have been right. Unfortunately, not the greatest of conditions for them, but they're making the best out of it. As Rob Golden in the 11U's moved up into third, as we still got this battle between the Grosvenors. Coming through 4 now, lap traffic getting in the way. That's going to let John slip on through. Big battle now. The 10 has slipped away from the 21. We'll see if Ron Grosvenor has an answer.
Yeah, you see the 21 trying to close the gap once again, but the 10 was faster earlier. This might be it as he is pulling away just slightly. Although Ron reeling him in the corners and the 10 drifting up the track. Opportunity perhaps for Ron Grosvenor to reel him back in. I mentioned how fast these amazing machines can go. Chassis and shock package is actually very similar to a Pro Late model or a Super Late model, only lighter, and they're running quick change rear ends. They have 10-inch slick tires like we mentioned. Cars can be very fast. In fact, the fastest group of Super 4s often outperforms the best of the late model class.
Yeah, these cars are very lightweight, really, for how big they are. As we saw the rainbow down the back stretches, we're starting to get a little bit of sun starting to peek out for us, and the rain has maybe starting to hold off a little bit. So right now, Ron Grosvenor's gotten around John Grosvenor, and we'll see if John can reel him in. Got about 21 laps to go at the line. There's the rainbow more, Derek.
What a beautiful sight. Such a unique part of Evergreen Speedway is the rain or shine mechanic. I love it dearly. It's, when I was younger, one of the coolest things was the fact you could count on Evergreen to always be racing Saturday nights during the season. And kudos to the FSCRA drivers who have made the journey out here despite those slick tires and have elected to run this great race. As we are 10 laps in, 20 to go, the Grosvenors will go side by side once again.
You talk about, racing in the Northwest in general. You got to be prepared for the conditions, and these cars are not easy to drive in normal conditions or in dry conditions. So wet conditions, I'm sure, is going to be even tougher as John and Ron Grosvenor deadlocked as they come across the line. Neck and neck battle between the 10 and the 21.
Yeah, they're coming up to put another lap on Mr. Golden. See, the 10 got into the water on the inside of turn number 2. Looks like got that off mostly through the backstretch and will close back in on the number 21 once more.
Yeah, you talk about Derek, the FSCRA and the Super 4s, a part of Evergreen's history star racing here in the 60s, and it's awesome that they're here for Driver Reunion Night, Derek. We handed out some awards earlier for Driver Reunion Night, so it's awesome that we get to see a little piece of Evergreen history racing on it when we got to make some Evergreen history tonight.
Yeah, we honored with the Pioneer Award the Harder family out here at Evergreen Speedway, Bill Fuller, the Young family, Jens Klosser, Dwayne Chosbeck, all legends of Evergreen Speedway's history that have put on many shows for many generations out here. As you see, they continue side by side with 17 to go. Got to split Bob Quarterman through turn number 3. FSCRA, a part of the history here at Evergreen, as you mentioned, up until 1985. It's cool to have them back in these Super 4s. Not something you get to see too often. One of those big 4-engine cars, actually very similar to our mini stocks in that regard.
Yeah, I said Youthorn earlier, probably, apologies, definitely closer probably to a mini stock, I would say. So it looked like there was problems for Bob Quarterman. He was slow in his 11 down this back straight last time by. That might have forced the 11 off into pit lane. Not sure. 15 laps to go here. And the Grosvenors, John and Ron, still battling it out up front. Yep, there's the shot on Quarterman, headed towards the pits. Problem for the 11.
Well, we talked about the history of mini stocks. Can't talk about that without talking about Mark Whedon, one of the 5 new drivers we inducted into the greatest 70 in Evergreen Speedway history. Mark Whedon, a mini stock driver in the past. Also on that list, Jim Fody, who you can catch next weekend racing a street stock. Jimmy Harder, Kenny Shukar, and Ricky Dietz, all on that list. New, amazing to have them. Lots of many wins, Crown Jewel wins, big show wins, and fan favorites over the years.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was really cool to get to read the posts that the Speedway put out on each one of them. You can find those online on the social media sites, including the Speedway's Facebook. It was cool to get to read and see a variety of drivers. You know, you have Jim Fody and Ricky Dietz who are still running, you know, currently, and drivers who raced previously earlier on in the Speedway's history. I think it was very cool for me. You know, we talk about Derek. We've talked about this a lot on race days so far. It's my first year out here, so getting to learn and soak in the history as it's been coming at me all year long. And yeah, it was just really cool to kind of get to learn more about each one of those drivers getting inducted into the top 70.
Yeah, Harder actually is a former member of the FSCRA. One of the early drivers out here at Evergreen. We see Ron Grosvenor go by on the inside, almost able to complete the pass. Got to wonder what it would be like to see him out here racing with these drivers in the Super 4. And
I'm sure he'd have a blast.
The modern era of FSCRA. It's really cool. Another piece of those posts was getting to see how the race cars have changed. And nowadays, these FSCRA Super 4s, weights ranging from 2,100 to 2,350 pounds, depending on engine configuration. They're got dry sumps and carburetor setups with 1 carburetor per cylinder, capable of turning over 9,000 RPMs. Pretty big horsepower. Back in the day, we're talking Volkswagen Scirocco's running around on the track, chasing each other. A lot simpler, so to say. And I think that was one of the coolest parts of seeing how racing has evolved as we now go to the Brandy Hood Promotions in-car camera with John Grosvenor, who's on the outside against Cousin Ron.
Yeah, this is a cool onboard. We get to see how much Grosvenor is having to, what he's having to do to get this car around those turns, take the track high, and trying to get around Ron Grosvenor as best as he can. You can see how wet that front windshield is. Visibility still not probably great, even though it's not currently raining on these drivers. John's clearing Ron across the line. 9 laps to go into the single digits of laps, and the 10 car, John Grosvenor's trying to hang on.
Yeah, he goes up the track a little bit. Opportunity for Ron. Not going to pan out. All these cars mid to upper 300 horsepower range is what we've got underneath the hoods. You see little covers poking up on the 21. You'll also notice these cars shifted a little to the left instead of our late model bodies we're used to, where we've got that center where the cockpit is. It's moved a little more to the left. I've heard that it's a little bit more traditional to some of the late models in the early days.
Yeah, you can see that big space in between where John Grosvenor's 10, where his driver's side slopes down the windshield. You can see almost just the square flat across the right side of that car as he's putting up a gap to Ron Grosvenor. 6 more laps to go for the 10 car.
Well, another piece of our amazing driver reunion night is we gave some special recognition to 2 Hall of Famers in Evergreen Speedway's history, as well as just amazing drivers, those being Doug Delfell, you saw him, Grizz, in the Superstock Figure 8s, as well as Carl Zaretsky, a pioneer of both figure 8 racing and of oval racing here at Evergreen. His son, John, still a driver out here. He runs the 51 Legend, was also crewing for Aaron Flett's number 98.
Yeah, that's awesome. Again, see all these awards. We had a great little presentation earlier on in the night. And now the Grosvenors are back side by side. Ron Grosvenor, got real loose there. That might open the door for John Grosvenor to drive away with this thing. Ron could not handle that car in the middle of that turn. He's been so precise all night, but one little slide on those slick tires have opened up a big gap back to John.
Sometimes one little slip is all it takes. As you see the big gap between the two of them, it'll be 3 to go at the line for John Grosvenor in the number 10. Ron going to try and hard charge, make it back in there. 3 more golden, not on screen. A couple of laps down, not going to be a part of this one. As it all comes down to these two, just like last time, the side-by-side battle.
Yeah, the Grosvenors put on some fantastic driving. It's so close between the 10 and the 21. Last time they were out, and this time it's been neck and neck. And unfortunately for Ron Grosvenor, it might be that one little mistake that costs him the win. John Grosvenor will get the white flag next time by. So right now, just trying to hang on.
Sometimes all it takes is just that tiny little slip up of the car getting a little loose, and you can drop back. It's the nature of racing as they roll out of turn number 4. White flag in the air, one more trip around the 3/8 oval.
Yeah, Grosvenor's going to try to take this thing home, but Grosvenor's going to try to run him down. Big puddle there. You can see Robert Golden getting in the middle of these two. Does Ron Grosvenor have enough? Does not look like it. As the 10 of John Grosvenor is going to extend the lead. Come around turn 4 for the final time. Off of turn 4, John Grosvenor, checkered flag race winner.
Ron Grosvenor second, Robert Golden in third. We'll talk to them on the Angel of the Winds podium.
A tough race tonight, battling the conditions and slick tires. What's that like?
It's like racing on dirt. It's a little slick. You keep the revs down. It's challenging.
Yeah, both the Grosvenors in front of you had a lot of speed. What did you do when you're seeing them coming in your rear?
Just hold your line. Don't get in their way. Don't do anything dumb.
And who do you want to thank for helping you get out tonight?
I'd like to thank Bob Golden, Bob Quarterman, Midnight Solar, D.L. Hendricks, and the rest of our club, and all you people for coming to the track on such a crummy night. Thank you.
All right, let's give it a third place, Rob Golden. Tough battle tonight between you and the 10 car. He got loose out of turn 4 at one point. What did you need, and how is it out there in the conditions?
It's slick, to say the least, and I went in a little hot, hoping to get by him, and she just wouldn't turn. Tried to get a little bit back on it, and almost lost her, almost. But yeah, it's tough. It was tough out there.
Yeah, but you guys were door-to-door, side-by-side. What do you have to do in tough conditions to maintain a race like that?
You can't make a mistake. He's one of the best drivers around, probably just about any type of car, and you can't make a mistake. If I hadn't made one, I might have got him, but maybe next time.
And who do you want to thank tonight?
Hendrickson Construction out of Tacoma, MJG Transport, and Diamond Knot Brewery.
All right, let's give it up one more time. Second place, Ron Grosvenor. John, a similar question. You know, slick conditions out there, battling against John. What do you have to do to bring it home?
Really, all you can do is try and keep the seat under your butt. Like Ron said, on these slicks out here, most guys won't do it. Some of ours will. It's a lot of fun. You just got to slow down a bit, try and keep the thing underneath you. Ron made one good mistake down here and capitalized on that. Other than that, you know, I need to thank D.L. Hendrickson, Midnight Solar, MJG Construction, or MJG Transport, sorry. Man, I can't think of anybody else right now. Good to be up here. Beautiful day to race, huh?
Perfect, thank you. Let's give it up one more time for our race winner tonight, John Grosvenor.
Welcome back to Home Track Heroes here on Seattle 11, presented by our friends at Gene Johnson Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. I'm Derek Todd. Alongside me is Ben Iman.
How do you do?
We are going back to the 8 for our final main event of the night. It is our second Monroe Grocery Outlet Superstock Figure 8 Twin 30, led by the number 88 Protocol Plumbing and Sewer Machine. Subbing in is Doug Delfell. In his 50th year of racing, he is alongside the All Ply Roofing LLC 63 Big Bird Robert Weldon out of Arlington.
The 43 is the Siskin Power Equipment sponsored car out of Darrington, driven by Sheridan Vincent. Alongside him is the Pilchuck Heating 72 Jeff Talbert out of Arlington.
Mary's Towing is aboard the number 5 out of Aberdeen. That's the one-armed bandit Quentin Borison. He's alongside the driver subbing in, the number 45, sponsored by Homegrown Hair Studio. That's the Cowboy, John Carlson.
The BECU 67's out of Monroe, and it's driven by our first race winner, Mackenzie Dietz. Starts alongside the 76S of Chris Southard out of Everett, sponsored by All Solved Plumbing.
In the 17X McCarthy General Contractor machine, hailing from Stanwood, that's Ricky Argus. He's alongside the Black Thunder Transport number 52 of Keith Taylor.
And rounding us out is the 98 of Aaron Flett out of Tacoma, sponsored by Kent Collision Center.
Sure to be a good show. This race and this entire program brought to you by our friends at Gene Johnson Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Your one-stop destination for all your home service needs. Whether it's fixing a leaky faucet, keeping your home cool or cozy, or ensuring your electrical systems are running smoothly, Gene Johnson says we're on it. As we get set to go racing on the 8 one final time, the one-to-go signal being given by our flagger in the infield. Delfell and Weldon up front, as mentioned before, full limber.
Yeah, we racked the field around. A couple of drivers end up shifting around after going towards the back, but Dietz, the race winner, and he starts more towards the back. So will Quentin Borison. So will the Cowboy, and lots of veteran leadership and quality driving starting up front.
It will be a real good one, that is for sure. They make their way into the left-hand corner. They will look to JD in the interior, and they will see the green flag. Robert Weldon, Doug Delfell lead them into the first turn. Delfell going to jump out, get a good jump here, and will clear the 63 already. As now the battle for third where it's at. Talbert struggling up on the high side. Advantage Sheridan Vincent through the corners. Weldon solidly in the second place spot.
Yeah, this track's going to be different than the main event we saw, the first main event we saw earlier, so we'll see how these drives. Sheridan Vincent's been hung out to dry on that high line. Nothing working for him there. Slip and fall, and Carlson's looking to force the issue on Talbert in the 45. Little nose, little beating banging. Right now, Delfell, Weldon, and Talbert have gotten away. Dietz and Borison have slipped around. The 98 Aaron Flett's around.
Flett has spun over in the right-hand corner. We'll see if we stay green.
I wonder if that's a sign of things to come, Derek.
He is back underway, as we will not see the yellow flag. Your race leader still Doug Delfell, then Robert Weldon, then Jeff Talbert, then it's the Cowboy. Then it is Sheridan Vincent holding off right now, the number 5 of the one-armed bandit Quentin Borison and the 67 of Mackenzie Dietz.
Yeah, Carlson's trying to force the issue on Talbert, though. Getting down the inside. Now we'll have the more aggressive, harder line around this outside right-hander. Looking to clear Talbert. Can he do it? Yes, he can. John Carlson's your new third running car.
A little bit ironic seeing the rookie stripes on the back of the 8-time figure 8 champion. He is chasing the 63 of Robert Weldon. Borison under pressure from the 67. Dietz looking to grab a spot, move on forward. This is also your top 2 in points. Borison and Dietz have been there this entire season, going back and forth. Unfortunately, one bad run for Mackenzie has made it so she is down despite all her winning ways.
Yeah, Carlson's trying to make the move on Big Bird Weldon. He'll have the inside run. Now the 45 and the 63 have gotten into each other a little bit this season, but it's not Chevy Vincent in the car tonight. I wonder if Weldon will give him a little bit of a break due to that here. But Carlson clears him, and now the only thing standing in front of Cowboy Carlson in a victory is the Grizz, Doug Delfell.
Yeah, different strategies, different ways, all how you go about it, what gets you your results. You see the 43 now stuck on the outside, going to come under pressure from the 5. That's Quentin Borson, the one-armed bandit, up against Sheridan Vincent. Now is going to come under fire from Mackenzie Dietz. Mackenzie going to have the high side when they go into this corner, not the advantageous low line.
Yeah, not where you want to be, and these cars are all stacked up, 3rd through, I believe that's 7th, all running so close together, and lots of high point earners this year in this group so far. As Talbert's holding off the one-armed bandit for now, all of them trying to get around Big Bird Weldon for 3rd.
A little bit of contact there from the 5 to the back to the 72 as we ride along with Quentin Borson, the one-armed bandit. As, whoa, big
Talbert.
contact. Talbert now under pressure from the 5, who has a side-by-side shot. If he can stick there when they exit off of the right-hand corner, he will have the preferred inside line. More contact, and around goes Weldon, unrelated to that contact. As you see Borson still all over the back bumper of the 72.
Talbert's trying to get the inside of Sheridan Vincent.
Sheridan making a little bit of contact with him.
Yeah, everyone getting the elbows out early. They were a little bit more patient in the first race, Derek. A little more impatient here in the second one.
Sometimes it's how the cookie crumbles. As Sheridan's moved up there, he's battling for position with Quentin. Meanwhile, your race lead, it has come to this. Hall of Famer versus the 8-time champion. The Grizz, Doug Delfell versus the Cowboy.
Yeah, this is going to be a good battle to watch. We've got 20 more laps for these guys. We're still on board with Quentin Borson as he's trying to run down. I believe that's Jeff Talbert in front of them. That's the battle for 3rd. So we're watching both these battles develop. So now we're looking Sheridan Vincent's falling off. Mackenzie Dietz falling a little bit off the pace of this battle for 3rd. With such a gap up to the leaders behind the 3rd and 4th place car.
Talbert just has a mere fall of the number 5. A shot to the back, a shot to the back, a shot to the back. The one-armed bandit wants by and into that 3rd place spot. So we are 12 laps in to this 30-lap main event. Doug Delfell still under a ton of pressure from the Cowboy. Talbert under a ton of pressure from the one-armed bandit.
My favorite thing with the figure 8s when we go on board, if you take a look at like Quentin Borson here, as he comes around oftentimes, you can see just another car about to enter the intersection in a different lane. Oh, yeah, we talk about the split-second decision that these drivers, Chris Southard's around.
Southard has spun there. Right next to the intersection. We'll see if that brings anything. No, he's back underway and moving once again as Borson hard into the back of the 72 moves him up the track.
Borson saying, I'm coming by now, but the battle up front, Southern and Flett, the lap cars have gotten into the battle, and the Cowboy, John Carlson, capitalizes. Nowhere for Doug Delfell to go, and now we have a new leader. Cowboy, John Carlson leads with 16 to go as Borson. Oh no, Quentin Borson had to dodge out of the way of the intersection and has fallen well off the pack of 3rd.
Sideways and up the track for Quentin Borson, as now he will fall through the field. Vincent will assume the 4th place spot. Cowboy, your race leader in the number 45. He was the champion last year, subbing in for Quentin Borson while Quentin recovered from an injury. Now Carlson back full-time in outlaw figure 8 competition.
That's right.
I think he enjoys stepping in just this once.
I'm sure subbing into a class that you've won a title in before has got to be a little fun. You know, flex the muscles and be like, all right, I still got it. I can still do well here. And obviously, the Super Stocks have lots of talented drivers in this class this year. So we're looking around now at the full shot of the intersection beginning to heat up. We're under 15 laps. And that's the battle for 4th between Sheridan Vincent, Mackenzie Dietz, and Quentin Borson. As Dietz giving Vincent a little bit of a shove, now Borson's giving Mackenzie a little bit of a shove. Everyone's beating and banging here.
Just because you see these drivers beating and banging doesn't mean they hate each other back in the pits. Contact is a part of the sport. And around goes the 43 as I say that.
No, Dietz, nowhere to go for her.
Forced to stop there.
Problems for the 67 here.
Vincent actually recovers much better. Dietz, not sure where she is right now, but you see Carlson trying to put a lap on the 63 of Weldon. And Dietz does seem to have straightened it back out, got back underway, but she is running in what appears to be the 7th place spot right now.
Yeah, Mackenzie not used to being probably off the front of the pack usually. This race has not broken out the way it needed to for her so far. Obviously, when Cowboy Carlson steps in, Doug Delfell, the Grizz, steps in, you know, things might shake out a little bit differently, but also just sometimes we talk about creating your own luck. Hasn't been able to do it as we scissor the intersection right there.
Yeah, intersection beginning to boil with the heat of everyone trying to make their way through. So you see Yargis, and there goes Dietz right in front of Talbert, who is running in third, and look who's made his way back up. This 5 car at the edge of your shot, trying to close back in on Jeff Talbert.
Yeah, Quentin Borison took many a shots to try to get around Jeff Talbert as we're under 10 laps to go. Might try 1 or 9 more times potentially to get back around Talbert to get up on the podium as Carlson gives Weldon a shot and is like, hey man, you're not even in front of me. Just let me go.
Weldon gave him a little bit of a bump as he went by, saying, hey, I don't appreciate that too much. Maybe if you're really so good, you can pass me without contact.
Whoa, round goes Yargis.
Round goes Yargis in the 17X. He spins. You see, Cowboy has gotten around the number 63, 8-time champion, pulling on away.
That's the battle for third we're looking at again. Borison is closed up to Talbert. Yargis finally gets rolling and just slots in behind Borison. That's the battle for third. The Mary's 5s trying to close up to the 72. Can the one-armed bandit get back up onto the podium for the second time tonight?
Yeah, right now, as it stands, the only podium repeat is the Cowboy, who's gone from second to first. Talbert and Delfell not in that top 3 last trip by.
Oh, for good fortunes for Talbert is, Keith
Taylor.
Taylor's around. Borison might have just given him a little bit of a shove, been like, hey man, I'm battling for the podium. You're a couple laps down. Get out of here.
Sometimes it's just how the cookie crumbles. You got to let the people in front of you know. Let them know that you're coming on through and you don't intend to slow on down.
Yeah, not sure, but now Talbert's got some lap traffic in front of him, Southard and Flett. That's not good news if you're the 72. The intersection gets a little close there. Borison's looking for any way around Jeff Talbert he can find. Hasn't emerged just yet, but 2 lap cards side by side in front of him. Maybe Borison can find a way down the inside of Talbert. Here he goes.
They're going to go side by side through the right-hand corner. Flett and Southard might decide this one on who's faster. Southard got loose on the exit of the corner, and Talbert.
Oh, I think Borison had him for a moment, too.
Yeah, Talbert is going to go forward. A little bit more contact, perhaps, between the two of them. It's Borison all over the back bumper. Flett gets loose, and it's going to force them both up the track. You saw Cowboy almost complete half lap ahead of them.
I think Cowboy was trying to make the pass on Dietz, put her a lap down, showing you the speed of the 45 tonight. That's 6th place now down a lap.
Yeah, Cowboy just dominating fashion at the moment. In the number 45, he's got 3 more trips around the track, soon to be 2 as he crosses the intersection.
Oh, Borison gives Talbert a shove, trying to push him high up the track. The one-armed bandit wants around. Can he find a way to get around Talbert? Another big shot to the 72.
Big bump into the corner, and you see he puts the car
Getting
in there, and
physical.
around he goes.
He's around. Oh, got too physical, Derek.
Oh, that's going to cost him. As you see, Sheridan Vincent will get by into 4th. Borison will refire before Dietz gets there, but the white flag will be in the air. One more trip around the figure 8 for the Cowboy, John Carlson.
Well, quite the battle between Jeff Talbert and Quentin Borison, and Talbert is going to survive it. Doug Delfell is going to, I think, settle in for a nice second place here, the Grizz, in his 50th year of racing. But as we come around one more time, the Cowboy, John Carlson, is a race winner once again in the Superstock Figure 8s.
You see how massive that lead is, as there's the Grizz. Doug Delfell comes across the line in second. Jeff Talbert rounds it out. That's your podium, all 3 of them. Cowboy, Grizz, and Talbert. Your top 3, we will talk to them down the Angel that wins podium here on Home Track Heroes.
Jeff, you were chasing the podium spot in the first one, held it off this time, protecting it. What was the difference for you between those 2 races?
I think starting up front and then not having too much traffic in the front of it. So it was good. I got hit several times in the rear to try to get me to move out of the way, but the car stuck, so pretty happy with it.
How do you respond when you're behind the wheel and you feel those hits to the back?
I don't really care. Doesn't bother me any. So it's racing. It's part of the deal. And sometimes you get harder ones, sometimes you get light ones. So you just take it. Hopefully the car sticks where you want it to go, and you keep going.
Hey, fair enough. Who would you like to thank for getting that number 72 out here tonight?
First, got to thank my wife, my family, my kids, my brother, Hannah and Harrison, all the Wilkinsons, Jim Powers, anybody that's willing to help a hand. We'll take all the respect for them.
Driver the number 72, third place tonight, Jeff Talbert. 50 years of racing out here at Evergreen Speedway. How does it feel, second appearance this year, to drive home and grab that second place?
Pretty crazy, isn't it? I got to thank Guy Litz for letting me drive his car, Protocol Plumbing for taking care of the car, Spotless Solutions, and Central Welding.
Someone grab that for me.
Just lean against it. Yeah, this was a good night. We had a pretty good car earlier tonight. I don't know what I did wrong, but I let it spin out on me. Otherwise, we might have had a little better night on the first race. But hey, we can't complain about this at all.
Hey, it was certainly a good show you put on there. Chasing down Cowboy, what more did you think you needed?
Cowboy is in his own little zip code no matter what he drives. But we were happy to be able to be up front.
Anyone else you'd like to thank for coming home second tonight?
I just like to thank, I'm sorry Guy Litz broke his thumb. Man, that sucked, but I was happy to race on reunion night.
Driver the number 88 tonight, give it up for Doug Delfell. Your only repeat podium between the two races. You quickly made your way through the field and up to the front. What's it like racing with someone like Grizz, who you've been racing for, so long?
Oh, it's a lot of fun to race with Doug. We've known each other. This is my 30th year. He's been out here 50 years, I think he's going this year. So he's been around, and he knows this like the back of his hand. I know it like the palm of my hand. So I got a ways to go to catch up with him, but it's fun to race with him.
You just cut your way through traffic. Do you think outlaw racing at all helped with that, or was that just drawn experience previously from this class?
It's just all experience. You can't beat it, especially when you're on a wet track. It's just a whole different game when you're racing on a wet track.
I've heard from a couple of people. It sounds like it's your birthday. Who's going to help you celebrate that one?
Well, who knows? We'll do some celebrating tomorrow. We got a little Father's Day stuff going on, and my birthday is tomorrow. But, yeah, what a way to celebrate.
Driver the number 45, your race winner tonight, that's the Cowboy, John Carlson.
Well, that will do it for tonight's edition of Home Track Heroes here on Seattle 11, presented by our friends at Gene Johnson Heating, Plumbing, Cooling, and Electrical. I'm Derek Todorf, Ben Iman alongside me. We're happy to have brought you all this great action. Next time you will see us here on TV will be for Coastal Community Bank Night, powered by Ziply Fiber. That'll be Street Stocks, Pro 4 Trucks, Hornets, Stinger 8s, and Legends on the Road course. Sure to be a thriller. The next time you can catch us at Evergreen Speedway, well, that's for our first crown jewel, the Gene Johnson Mark Galloway Shootouts, presented by Busch Light. Street Stocks, Mini Stocks, Legends, and then we take to the big track, the 5/8 mile oval, with twin 70s for our Pro Late models. Ben, I know you're excited.
I'm very excited to see that.
It will sure to be a great show. So make sure to join us. It has been an honor bringing you the action. Giving a huge thank you to Brandy Hood Promotions for giving us all our in-car footage, as well as Hobbs Production Company doing all the production stuff, as well as all of our camera people. From all of us here at Evergreen Speedway, have a great weekend.
Thanks for watching Evergreen Speedway's Home Track Heroes on Seattle 11. Join us next week for more great racing from Evergreen Speedway.